Okay, this is a cooling chart here of the last roughly about 20,000 years, showing how we peg up and down. But really, this is the last little peg out of our switch. In a moment, I'll show you another scale that'll show you a longer timeline and how we actually, like a heartbeat, kind of go through these ice ages. It's a normal thing for us to go through warming and icing periods. One thing I really like to point out right now is that here is our trend that we've gone through here lately. And if you look, it bounces up and down. It does a heartbeat, almost a sine wave. You can see this point here mimicking this point again, and so on. Well, they say we're going through this big global warming and everything. Well, look where we sit next to the warmth that was going on in all these times right here and how hot it was then. So, I mean, is it really that much of a warmth that we're going through? Here's a little ice age that we had through there, the Napoleonic area and all that, where they had a pretty decent little ice age going on. So that was even noted. Well, if you think that's noted, look at the one that happened right back here. This is, I wonder if this is not our flood that happens at the end of everything melting off of it. Now, where everybody else points at to is this Younger Dryas here, and this is that 10,500 event. And I think this may also have to do with the asteroid impact that we had, where it gets this junk up and down. It should have came up and went up to here, and then done this little thing where it goes up and then rides, and then here we go down later. And we're really kind of due to going down a little bit. I mean, if you look at this other scale that we've got here. Okay, so if we look at this, this is more of a heartbeat style. This is what's been going on, where we have warming trends to all of these little peaks that are all up here at the top. These are all warming trends. And so you seem to have a spike of warming, an area of warming that's long, and then it dives back down cold, and then it warms up and dives down cold. The reason this is so scribbly over here versus over here is we have a lot of data points for all of this timeline here, of course, and we have less data points for there. But in giving that same fact, you can see where it mimics itself over and over again. And we really can't see this end part here. Let me see if I can get this over here. Yeah, you can see the end of it right here at the very end where we start to have it. We go up and we get this other little spike too here, and we're kind of looks like boom, boom, boom. Well, shouldn't it be cooling down? Well, yeah, it'll cool back down. Well, I think naturally it's going to cool back down. We don't see it cooling back down yet. Are we holding off this natural trend for us to dive down right here like this? And we're actually due another one. Let's look at this other scale too. The scale here kind of shows you the peaking and trends that you have going on each little deal, and this is really a finite scale. We're looking at degrees in Celsius over here. 2 degrees gives you a graph about this big of an area jump. So, but here we are again, boom, 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 and here's our next data point. So it should be going towards a cooling trend now. Maybe it's not. We're holding off a cooling trend. So again, here's another last look at it here. You can see all the bouncings that we have at the top of this heartbeat, thump 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 over time. You can see it happening with or without humanity being on the planet here, and we are in the middle of a thump. And it looks like we didn't get a good peak out of our last one like everybody else did. It actually didn't get as warm as it was supposed to. What's all this talk about global warming whenever we're not actually even hitting the point where everybody did before, and we're actually riding at a lower nominal point? I mean, let's see, let's look at this here. Here's the nominal point of the hiccup, and here we are riding at a lower point. Looks like we're really not even that bad of a deal. I mean, surely they're seeing something, but I'm trying to compare all these charts, and I'm seeing where we should be going to a cooling trend right now to help stave off any bad thing that they say we're doing. But B, it doesn't even look like we're really at the height that we used to be on all these other heartbeats. Where we're kind of, at the medium of a lot of them. A few of these over here in these early spots over here, don't have as big a spikes into them. But Yeah, that's not the normal heartbeat. So we should be in a cooling trend. Things should really be not that bad. I don't see a big problem by looking at this data. One more look at this to show, I guess, our frailty to all this too. This is the last 4,500 years, and they're saying it's from 2,500 BC to 2040 AD, roughly. Um, and what we're looking at here is all the old data from back over in here and how it got real hot right around Exodus time in Egypt. But they're seeing all these, if you look at the data, they're seeing all these eruptions that are all through the timeline, and that eruptions cause this dip, and eruptions cause this dip, and eruptions cause each of the dips each time, and causing us to go through ice age. In fact, they describe down here, may not quite fit into it, that whenever solar radiation is decreased and volcanic activity increased, global temperatures suddenly plummeted, often within weeks or months, diving straight down from the actual event itself. And if you look right here at the very end of everything, right here, Mount Pinatubo spin us in this little jig that went all the way back down and up, this cooling and warming trend. But we seem to be sitting right in here. The reason we don't hear Al Gore anymore is because he was worried, oh, it's going to get worse, it's going to get like that. And it really is there. So, we seem to be somewhat okay. The thing that I worry about is we're getting a lot more CO2 in our atmosphere than we apparently had in previous times. And I don't know that's going to drive the engine that we're worried about driving. So, anyhow, there's there. And here's my last, if not major point to this whole thing is, if we have another ice age, everybody's going to try to go from the north and the south and come up to the middle area. And we're already having global overcrowding quite a bit. And I don't know if you've noticed, but that central area right now is a desert. Whether or not, whenever it squinches in, it's going to refortify itself somewhat due to the moisture that happens or not, is something we probably can't depend on. And it's also going to shoot us all into a quite big cramp. We need to start really discussing overcrowding and limiting ourselves to how many children we have, perhaps, and things to upset for this thing that should be happening already. It should be starting to happen. And, with technology, we can offset some of this somewhat, but there's going to be a lot of trouble with this. And again, we need to figure out a way to get off this planet to another planet too, and to continue on. But regardless of anything, we're going to have a limiting of the amount of people on the planet coming up one way, short, or another. And I don't want to call, New World Order or anything weird, stupid like that. People are going to have to realize, we're going to have to go around and tell everybody, you got to realize that, we got to slow this down. And when that happens, we're going to have to monitor it enough to where we can make sure that no certain people are trying to overpopulate themselves versus others and act like, aha, can't pull that crap. But I'm worried that we're about to go through another ice age here in the next couple of thousand years. And it looks like we're due already, and if so, then why aren't we, why aren't we having it? Well, we're holding it off. Well, this data right here says that we're not even actually necessarily there yet. We're, this is a go up. Well, we should have been a go up. You got to go up, go down, go up, go down. We're going up. We're fixing to go down. And I'm not sure if our staving off speeds us up in this or slows it down, delays it, makes it to where the bumps don't go as much, stabilizes the bounce that we have. It may be a good thing for all that we know. One thing, we're trashing the atmosphere in the process, though. We need to do it a different way, but and probably figure out what we have done and what we really are doing to it. I think people are doing that right now, but anyhow. Global warming is tearing up our planet, and it's causing a lot of problems. It's causing aberrant weather. It's causing all these things, and I believe that there's an easy fix that people aren't thinking of. And of course, we need to limit ourselves. And what I'm talking about is not a band-aid, but it's something that alleviates. It's something that pulls the foot off the gas a little bit as we try to correct ourselves here. But I used to do saltwater aquariums and stuff, and we would feed the corals with phytoplankton. Phytoplankton from the ocean feeds all the corals and stuff. It's a unicellular creature that moves around, and what it literally does is it grows off sunlight and it eats carbon dioxide and gives off oxygen. And when they die, they take that carbon dioxide with them to the bottom of the ocean, which gets denitrified, and we don't have an emission anymore. It swallows up. And I looked into it. It's 15 years ago now, almost 20 now, whenever it was first coming out, and there was these people, and of course they were like, "You're crazy," but they were saying that because of the size of the oceans and the amount of phytoplankton that we have, that it does more than all of the rainforest combined. And when we started having the global warming problem, I thought, yeah, we're really not having it. It goes up and down, up and down. I looked into it, and it goes up and down, up and down. But man, there seems to be a trend, and one thing that's fueling that going up is that CO2, that carbon emissions. And everybody's trying to get rid of their carbon footprints and all that. Well, the easiest way to do that is to find some way to eat the carbon that you're emitting up. And they have people now trying to eat up carbon emissions and stuff. Here's the answer. So all the boats that are crisscrossing the ocean, you put phytoplankton on them that you've cultured and stored, different types. Go ahead and study the ocean and stuff, but they've already figured out the major types that do their thing. You might even figure out a few that are real good at doing this. And then distribute those out the back of boats as you're crisscrossing the ocean, seeding the ocean with more phytoplankton and letting it eat more, and it'll bloom. It's incredible how much it blooms. One can bloom into millions, and if you throw a bottle out there, just a 1 gallon bottle is going to be millions of it, and then that'll turn into, oh my God, more than every one bottle of it can easily turn into more phytoplankton than there has ever been people on the planet. And each bottle can do this. And through a little bit of research, we could figure out where to do it more so it washes up and eats nutrients. We might even be able to use these tubes that they have that are moving and churning nutrient up somehow to help make it happen a little bit better, to better our oxygen, to, reduce our carbon dioxide. I think that's really the answer there. Somebody needs to get this video to somebody that really can do something about it. Give me a little credit whenever you do. I think it's our answer.